We will discuss the reasons why Austrian economists are not employed as policy advisors. In the 1955 edition of his top-selling economics text, Paul Samuelson claimed that economists had finally determined how economies worked. Samuelson claimed that by appropriately reinforcing monetary and fiscal policies, our mixed enterprise system could avoid the excesses of boom and slump and could look forward to healthy progressive growth. This idea was widely accepted, and the 1955 to 1972 period became known as the all-is-known-by-us period of macroeconomics. However, models were at best retrospective approximations, quickly rendered obsolete by attempts to exploit measured relations for policy intervention. The attempt to exploit the Phillips curve trade-off between unemployment and inflation ended up producing more unemployment and more inflation because markets are about people, not billiard balls. The Austrian economics response to the idea of fixed models, based on equilibrium, is that the politically perceived need for a model to represent the aggregate economy and capture the effects of policy interventions is overwhelming. Austrians hold that the very idea of the synthesis macro model is incoherent. The problem is that the level of aggregation required to define the variables, GDP, employment, and the price level, rules out any identifiable vectors of cause and effect. Even if aggregates had meaning, the empirical relationships among these variables are never in equilibrium. The causal relationships are not even stable at any level but are changing like a kaleidoscope in complex ways. A snapshot of the data, or the aggregation of data over a month to write down a model, is already hopelessly out of date by the time it is used to analyze a simulated shock because the kaleidic changes in economic relationships are by definition unpredictable. This is a general problem in the social sciences, but the problem of even short-term parameter stability is acute in macro models. The difficulty faced by the Austrian critique is the oft-cited requirement that it takes a model to beat a model. This view was hardly limited to the Keynesians. Some pro-market neoclassical economists hold the same view. Saying that economics is a competition among models is already missing the point. The Austrian critique of central planning is founded on the claim that government officials, even if motivated by the best of purposes and goals, cannot get accurate, timely, local information. This is an empirical claim about the world, and it makes a falsifiable, in principle, claim that it is impossible, not difficult, impossible, to calculate the values of resources and outputs necessary to run an economy. To the advocates of planning, this seems like a rejection of models because our measurements are not good enough yet. In fact, that was precisely the response of Oscar Lange, who famously went so far as to congratulate, sarcastically, the contributions of Ludwig von Mises in highlighting the calculation problem. Socialists have certainly good reason to be grateful to Professor Mises, the great advocatus diaboli of their cause. Thank you for watching. Subscribe Libertarian Facts.